My name is Rick Porter, and I'm running for school committee here in New Bedford. And after 35 years in education, as both an elementary school teacher, the Teachers Union president, and a school principal, and now a recent retiree, I'm ready to continue serving the community in a new way. I believe New Bedford would greatly benefit from having an educator's voice in the school committee, someone who understands the daily realities of our classrooms and the importance of collaborating among teachers, students, families, and other administrators. Throughout my career, I have tackled the issues that matter most: supporting bilingual students, addressing student mental health, strengthening family engagement, improving school safety, negotiating fair staff contracts, and rethinking standardized testing. These are not abstract ideas for me. They are the real challenges that I faced in classrooms and schools for many, many years. I know that thoughtful leadership and collaboration is important, and as a lifelong resident of New Bedford, I'm dedicated to helping our children succeed, and I would appreciate your vote on Tuesday, November 4th. Well, I think in managing the school department budget as a school committee person, which is different from my previous role as a school principal, you need to know what your responsibility is. So my understanding is that we need to hear the budget that's being presented by the educational leaders in New Bedford. We need to ask the questions of them to make sure that the community voice is heard. We need to also make sure that staff concerns are heard. So my role would be more of an advocate. I would go out to the community, I would go out to the schools, I would go to the school principals to find out what they need. But I think it's very important that as a school committee person, for me to remind myself, I am not a day-to-day manager. That's the job of the principals. So again, in terms of school budget, I'd want to hear what the stakeholders have to say, and the community, the school leaders, and make sure I'm advocating for their needs. Well, I believe as a school committee, we will decide what the model we're going to use to evaluate the superintendent. And I'll make sure that that model needs to be followed closely. What I'm hearing throughout the community is that this superintendent has done a good job. Attendance is improved. He has just recently worked with the school committee and school leaders to develop a school nutrition center. He's on the forefront of building schools throughout the city. So I believe he has done a good job. But again, with the model that the school committee decides to adapt, we can really go through and decide, yes, things are good, but what are the things that we can do to do better? And I think it's very important to be a very collaborative model, a model that's used to not penalize, but how to make our superintendent even more successful. I don't think it's so much what my goals are. I think it's what the goals of the community are. So I'm going to take it like in three kind of boxes here. I think for families, I think the most important thing that they're looking for is that they can be engaged in the schools, so to make sure that their children's needs are being addressed. I think for students and staff, it's a matter of school safety. As a former principal, I worked hard to put protocols in place so that students' physical safety and emotional safety was being protected. And if I'm looking at the community of teachers and educators, what are the needs that they have that the school committee and the central office leadership need to make sure they're providing? So those would be the goals that I think the community would have, but I want to listen to what the community has to say. And once I know those needs, that's the voice I will become to advocate in terms of policy.